What's good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Today, we're counting down my top 10 most anticipated Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 5 RPGs, plus maybe a little bit more in this video. But before we get into that, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell to get my videos first. And with that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump right into the top 10. Number 10. FORSPOKEN from Square Enix on January 24, 2023. I'm looking forward to this game despite some of the mixed reactions so far. Yes, it's had a little bit of cringe marketing, and Hands-On has stated that, yeah, it can be really good, but there's also some issues too as well. So I'm looking forward to checking it out myself. The thing that I'm excited about the most is the world and the combat and the parkour. All of those kind of mixed together create something that looks pretty appealing. Now, I'm not sure if this game is going to be, oh my gosh, incredible 90+ rating. Probably not, but I think it's going to be a fun RPG to sit down and play when it drops early in the year. So with all of that, FORSPOKEN makes it to number 10 on my list. Number 9, Persona 3 Portable and Persona 4 Golden from ATLUS on January 19th, 2023. I wanted to just double pack bundle these two in. I've played them before. They're not necessarily new experiences like I want to put on this list, but they're still really good experiences that are going to be really fun to play. So I had to kind of sneak them in here at number 9 with them together. They're both dropping on the same day, and they're fantastic games. These are some of the best RPGs ever created, and I'm looking forward to be able to play them in this type of fashion with high fidelity and on my Nintendo Switch OLED. I think it's going to look absolutely incredible playing both of these games portable, because that's how I like to play my Persona games. So Persona 3 Portable, Persona 4 Golden, fantastic gameplay, great visuals, great music, great content, great combat. I mean, everything in these games is absolutely incredible. Heck, some people even think that Persona 4 Golden is better than Persona 5 Royal. So that's the reason why Persona 3 Portable and Persona 4 Golden make it to number 9 on my list. Number 8, Atelier Ryza 3 Alchemist of the End and the Secret Key from Koei Tecmo, February 24, 2023. Really excited for this one because it is the ending, or it's the finale for Ryza, one of the most, I would say, brightest and best characters that Koei Tecmo has ever made. One of their most popular characters as well, as Atelier Ryza has gotten a number of games in not that long of a time, and with good reason. Atelier Ryza games are fantastic. This is the peak of combat when it comes to the Atelier series, in my opinion. It doesn't get much better with the battle system and with the upgrades and the leveling, and Atelier Ryza 3 looks absolutely incredible. They really did a good job of improving the graphic fidelity and combat throughout the whole series, and it looks like the exploration in this game is even expanded upon more than what we saw from Atelier Ryza 2. So very excited about this. February 24, 2023. Can't wait for it. Finally see the conclusion to the Atelier Ryza series here. Number 7, Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes from 505 Games in 2023. I'm looking forward to this because it's that classic combat that we all know and love, and it's brought back from the same developers who made the Sudoken games. They're bringing it back right here with Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes, and it looks incredible. It's like their own version of the HD 2D games that are so beloved out there from RPG fans and gamers alike. So this one looks like it's going to be insane. They've got tons of characters. They've got a really cool combat system, nice dynamic camera as well. Looks like there's going to be exploration, and it's going to be a pretty beefy game because they hit a lot of their stretch goals when it comes to content and extra things. So I'm looking forward to it. The wait, I think, is going to be worth it. So that's why Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes makes it to number 7 on my list. Number 6, Sea of Stars from Sabotage Studio in 2023. So Sea of Stars is the spiritual successor, in my opinion, in terms of if there was something in the same line of Chrono Trigger and those old school games, Secret of Mana and all of that. this is it, and that's what makes it so exciting. Sea of Stars has seamless battles, right? You can just get right into it. There is no waiting around. There isn't any grinding either. You're going to be able to do side quests, get extra abilities, and still, no matter what your skill level is or where you're at, you're going to be able to get through the game and base it on your skill in the game. How well do you fight? What do you use? What items and equipment that you have? That is going to be one of the key factors in Sea of Stars. With tons of content being added in, the extra delay is going to help out this game immensely as they really polish it out, get rid of all the bugs, and make sure that everything is as enjoyable as possible. Sea of Stars is a RPG that old school fans you need to look out for in 2023. Number 5, Octopath Traveler 2 from Square Enix, February 24th, 2023. Octopath Traveler 2 looks like it's going to fix every single issue with the original Octopath Traveler. You now have a connected story, which is very, very important. You have new abilities, you have new combat options, you have an incredible looking game. The HD 2D engine, Unreal Engine 4, what they've done here is absolutely incredible. This is one of the most impressive looking games that I have seen, and it's going to be so beautiful to be able to play it on PlayStation 5, also on the Nintendo Switch portable on the go. The only thing that I hoped or wish for is that they make it to where it's cross-save. I don't know what I have to do to get some of these companies to make PS5 and Nintendo Switch cross-save. I know it's not easy, but I really would love it. But either way, I'm going to be picking up both versions of the game, and I just can't wait to jump into this. The music is going to be incredible as well. The combat is going to be refined. It is that classic Brave and default system, but they've expanded it even more in this one. And I think that the day-night cycle and what they're doing there is going to create a lot of new gameplay opportunities as well. So Octopath Traveler 2 absolutely earns my number 5 spot on the list. Number 4, Final Fantasy 16, Square Enix, Summer 2023. Square Enix is a bit on a roll this year in 2022, and of course in 2023 as well. Final Fantasy 16 looks immaculate. It looks monumental. It looks like a monolith, a giant of a game, where they've talked about how there's going to be up to 70 hours of content. If you want to do all the side quests, the story is going to take about 30 hours. That is a good length for this type of action RPG. They're completely rewriting what anybody thought about Final Fantasy, and that could be a good or a bad thing based on how you look at it, but I'm just anticipating it. I'm excited for it because I don't know what to expect. The Devil May Cry 5 combat director clearly is in this one. He's been making the combat in this game. Yoshi P producing, talking about the story and the other things. I think that this is going to be a game that really surprises and brings Final Fantasy to a level when it comes to popularity that they've been trying to get to for quite some time. Now, it's PlayStation 5 only for right now, and then later it's coming to PC. Maybe it comes to other systems, but I'm excited for it just to pick it up on PlayStation. It's this summer. It's pretty much done according to Yoshi P, and they're really just polishing out things at this point and everything. They got a really dope trailer that launched not too long ago, and it looks like it's just going to be a gargantuan experience, and the combat looks so fast and fluid. I think that they're really just going to do some crazy stuff in this game. It's confirmed that you're going to have party members as well. You're going to be able to switch between them, so we don't have to worry about that. So I'm just looking forward to seeing exactly how the story shakes up with everything that they've shown so far, because it looks like the story is going to be even more crazy than we've ever seen in a Final Fantasy game before. So Final Fantasy 16 makes it to number 4 on my list. Number 3, Resident Evil 4 Remake from Capcom, March 24, 2023. I get it, guys. This is RPGs, but there's some RPG elements in Resident Evil 4, and I had to put this game in. It's one of my favorite games of all time. Resident Evil 4 rewrote third-person survival horror shooters, to me at least. When that game launched, it completely changed my mind on the Resident Evil franchise and what I felt about it. What I thought that I knew about it completely changed, and I knew that going forward, Resident Evil was going to be one of my favorite franchises, because I played the previous Resident Evil games and I liked them, but it wasn't one of my favorites until Resident Evil 4. And now they're remaking one of my favorite games of all time, one of the most influential games of all time, and they're putting in all different types of combat elements and new abilities and different things. Listen guys, it's not an RPG, and that's completely fine, but there's plenty of elements in there with that. You can upgrade your guns, those level up and everything, so I want this game to be absolutely incredible. I think this game is going to be absolutely incredible, and I think that this is how you do a remake. Everybody in the industry needs to take notes. I mean, you need to bring the bag, the money to make something like this, but also need to take notes, because this game is going to be absolutely insane when it launches on March 24th, and I cannot wait to play it on the PlayStation 5. Number 2, Fire Emblem Engage from Nintendo, January 20th, 2023. Everything that I've seen from Fire Emblem Engage has me screaming, polished, clean, back to the basics. Fire Emblem Awakening, Fire Emblem Heroes, no gacha or mobile stuff, combined, incredible. I have not seen really anything that I dislike so far. Some people aren't too high on the main character with the different color hair, but I don't care about that, because I care about the combat. I care about what they've done to upgrade things from Fire Emblem Three Houses, and it looks like they've taken, okay, let's just make a back to the basics Fire Emblem Awakening, new style strategy RPG, but let's add in a really cool thing from the most popular Fire Emblem game, and that is Fire Emblem Heroes, the mobile game that's made Nintendo and Intelligent Systems a ton of money. Let's put in those heroes. People love that, but take the base of Fire Emblem Awakening, put them together, and we got ourselves an incredible experience here. Gone are probably all of the somewhat confusing mechanics that Fire Emblem Three Houses introduced, and the branching different story paths. I mean, that was a mammoth of a game, and they're bringing it back down to the basics, but adding in some of those elements. You do have the town building elements that's in previous games, Fire Emblem Three Houses and some of the other games. That's going to be returning. You're going to have the upgrading multiple different characters. You're going to have new combat elements. You still have the weapon triangle that's there. You can break enemies down. You have archers, you have Pegasus Knights, you have knights, you have everything that makes a Fire Emblem game good. But then they've also taken the technical aspects to the next level with this, because Fire Emblem Three Houses was a little rough around the edges, but Fire Emblem Engage looks so much smoother, and I actually wouldn't be surprised if they're using some type of upscaling or super resolution like they've used in games like Splatoon 3 or Nintendo Switch Sports. So Fire Emblem Engage engages its way all the way to number 2 on my list. And number 1, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom from Nintendo, May 12th, 2023. One of my favorite games of all time is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. That game to me helped me get through a situation in my life that was so difficult. So when Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom was first announced as the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, I was beyond the moon. I'm like, heck yeah, man. But that was like 4 years ago, like 3 or 4 years ago at this point, back in 2019. But the extra time that they've been taking, all of this time, the hype, anticipation that's building up to it, I think is going to be worth it. They haven't shown us much, because I think that they really want to wow us and blow us away when they finally drop the new gameplay mechanics, the new different things. We saw the patents that came out. We saw different type of elements that are going to be included in this game. I think that The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is going to be so massive. It's going to rewrite what we even think about The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and how good that game actually was, because I think Tears of the Kingdom is going to come out and blow it away in pretty much every single aspect. A lot of the stuff that was missing from previous Zelda games that people wanted is going to be back in Tears of the Kingdom, and I feel that they're going to make the combat, they're going to take that to another level, and the puzzle solving and the areas that you can go to. I think there's going to be sky dungeons, maybe even ground dungeons. I mean, this is going to be a very big and in-depth experience, so that's why I think that they've been taking so long to really just polish it up and make sure that the game doesn't break when it comes down to it, because Breath of the Wild launched in a state to where sometimes if you weren't careful, it can just shut down on you. There was some glitching and stuff like that. So I think that Tears of the Kingdom needs that extra time, but it's going to be well worth the wait. And once again, is this game an RPG? Nintendo says that it's kind of like a role-playing game on their website. Some people say it is, some people say it isn't. It's always interesting. So I guess role-playing game for right now, and I call it an action-adventure, but either way, it's on this list. I don't really care. It's number 1 for good reason. Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is going to be a masterpiece. I just know that it is. They're taking all this time. From what they've shown us, it looks super polished and very clean. I love the huge stone bird that Link was riding on, and I think that this game is going to have an even more in-depth story and narrative than what we even thought, because Breath of the Wild, I mean, it was there. There's plenty of lore, there's plenty of story, and I love that story. It just wasn't necessarily told in the same fashion in terms of how you see it play out. But I think that Tears of the Kingdom is going to rectify that with this game. So those are my top 10 most anticipated games, 11 if you want to get technically here, when it comes to Nintendo Switch and PS5 RPGs and a bit more. What are your top 10 confirmed most anticipated games for 2023? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and we will see you for the next video. Peace.